Hello and welcome. Well, we've had our first day of fall and craft fairs and festivals have started. Our weather's not cooperating, but we'll get there. So today's show is all about fall, going from Oktoberfest through Thanksgiving. I'm your host and designer, Susan Sage, and this is Designing with Casual Elegance. And I am going to start on the outside of your home, leading up to your front door perhaps, should reflect the inside. So I have some pumpkins and mums leading up to the front door, just to show you that we are in full swing of fall in this house. So I'm going to start today talking about our background. The mantle is empty, but we have this beautiful honeysuckle wreath. And you can see it's not perfect. It is real dried honeysuckle. So what I did, this beautiful bow came from Avenue Design, who is one of our sponsors. So I've added the bow and then a few different sprays just to liven it up a little bit. So now we really need to decorate our mantle. It's pretty bare. And I'm going to start with candles. And I've decided to use cut glass candle holders, a little bit different than all the chunky wood and iron and everything else that you're seeing today. These battery-operated candles just reflect beautifully off the glass. Okay, we're getting there. Second, I'm going to do the other side. We need to balance this out, and I am going to use Hot Squash by Daria. So first, I'm going to put some greenery, and I like greenery even for fall that still has some green. There is still a lot of life outside. You know, trees are not bare yet, so we're just going to set this up here, and then I'm going to start. I know it says hot squash, but these are pumpkins. These pumpkins are the original velvet pumpkins by Daria, and they're actually filled with crushed hazelnut. When you store these pumpkins, you want to put them in an airtight container, keep them safe from critters. The other thing is, these stems are actually grown for her. I'm sure all the squash and pumpkins go to a canning company, but she has all these stems and then designs her pumpkins. So we have this wonderful cheetah. And this guy, just a plain gold with some beautiful feathers again. And we'll tuck some leaves in there. And we got one more, just a little color of turquoise. All right, and then down below, we have a copper pot, and it is filled with birch logs. And of course, we will not be burning these birch logs, so they are just for looks. They are very hard to get, as we probably all know. So just to kind of fill in, we do have a wood-burning fireplace, so as we get close to actually starting a fire, perhaps after Christmas, these will come out and we will actually fill it with real wood. So we're going to do an Oktoberfest party. So what I'm going to do is next talk about our beverage center. So this is set up, but it needs some embellishing. So we'll get a little fall arrangement there. And then my dear friend Esmeralda. She has come, she's actually going to be the bar guard. She brought her own glass of wine. And if you read her little card, hocus pocus, she needs wine to focus. We are just going to set her up here to celebrate the season, and so she can stay out up to Thanksgiving, maybe just through Halloween. But I've done just a couple different size glasses for mixed drinks. What I'm going to have here, this beautiful bronze container. Fill it with ice. We're going to put in water, our mixers, and assorted beers. In our pitcher, we're going to have an apple cider sangria. And of course, to go with that, you do need to have garnishes. So we'll have apple slices because it's apple cider, and maybe some cinnamon sticks. Also, if you are doing mixed drinks, don't forget your lemons and limes. And I'm just going to put those up here with our napkins. And of course, our napkins are ready for Halloween. Okay, so feel pretty good about that. On this bottom shelf, I would put a cooler with backup drinks. That way you don't have to go running to the refrigerator or leave. You can just open it up and keep restocking. And of course, for your ice, you could just take ice out of this container instead of having a separate ice buckets. Now we're going to move on to actually doing our table. I like to use wood candlesticks, cake plates, and different items for risers, not just boxes covered, but I am going to do one box. And then I'm going to cover it with this beautiful fall colored throw. And then the star of our party, Mr. Sam Adams, any beer that you like, of course. But I just have this wonderful stein that has been with me for a while, and I like to use it for parties or by the front door. Okay, we're going to continue making this look nice and fall. We all know this makes a big mess, but part of the season. Okay, so with that, well, we've got a big menu. We are going to start with our spoons, forks, and knives. And we have a couple appetizers. We have maple and thyme grilled brie, and we're going to do twisted bacon breadsticks. And they are really, really good. Simple to make, can be made ahead of time. Really about the only thing that can't be made ahead of time are the bratwurst and the brie, which you're going to grill at the last minute. So we've got our spoons, forks, and knives. Of course, we'll need napkins. And we will need plates, dinner plates for the brats, and with some small plates for the appetizers. All right, basket. This is for our buns. We're just going to nestle it right in there, and then we will just fill that up with buns. We have a platter for our brats as they come in off the grill. And of course, you have to have condiments for the brats. Probably at least 2 different mustards. Everybody likes grainy mustard. They like Dijon mustard. So let's keep everybody happy. And onions and tomatoes diced and chopped, and sauerkraut. For those who want to brave it, gotta have sauerkraut. It's the real deal. Okay, I also have these fabulous little pheasants. Make a little more room. Maybe we'll turn that one around. Okay. Now, on the back side, I am going to put veggies and dip. And we have a couple cookies. We are going to do pumpkin chocolate chip, and that gets paired with a porter beer. And this is from the book, Cookies and Beer. Everybody always talks about pairing wine and chocolates, wine and this, wine and that. I'm all about cookies and beer. It's something a little different, especially for this time of year, because it is harvest time. And like I said, Oktoberfest, it's all about beer and cookies. So I also have a bacon pecan sandae. All right, little place cards. These are going to identify each of the dishes that you are serving. Okay, we got a couple more here. I'm sure everybody will know what veggies and dip are, but we'll put it back here anyway. Now, like I said, I've got a big Sam Adams stein here. If you didn't want to, or let's face it, not everybody's going to have a big stein, excuse me, in which case we can add a wonderful fall floral. So we are ready to celebrate. You know, open the door, let them in. Let's eat, drink, and be merry. We are going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. Welcome back. We are now going to set our table for Thanksgiving. Now this is totally different. This is not a party. This is sit-down dinner. I am going to mention that normally I would take this wreath down and I would switch it out with a nice big turkey tray for something a little bit different. And you can see it's hanging in the kitchen with just a little bit of embellishment above it. So I think that makes a great statement of Thanksgiving. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start on this table. I have this cornucopia of natural materials. It has a chicken wire frame, and I don't know what this is, but I've had this for a long time, and we're going to fill it up. Ooh. Again, these are from Avenue Design, one of our sponsors. They have some beautiful things in for fall. And like I said, I like to add greenery and a lot of different texture. Let's get you down. And we are going to put in a few little pumpkins. To match our place settings, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Okay, so we have a centerpiece, and really it probably is low enough to be able to talk over it. So we're probably going to leave it, except we may not have enough room for serving platters. Next, you always have to have a star of the show or the star of the dinner. So we've got Mr. Tom Turkey, and I think he's just a marvelous specimen. Looks really good on our table. So now I'm going to go ahead and actually put down our place settings. I'm going to start with just a plain white plate that will be our base. This is your dinner plate. And I'm going to top that with this wonderful, it's a fall motif of blue and white pumpkins, a little bit touch of orange, and this will be your salad plate. So we'll get those set around. And if anyone has watched the Easter Tablescape show, you may remember this. Drink, bread. Drink on the right, bread on the left. So let's set our bread plates. And of course, our drinks. Again, beautiful coffee mugs, same motif that coordinate with our little salad plates. And then, of course, our wine or water goblets. Nestle that in there. Okay, getting there. And of course, you have to have utensils. But first, napkins. So what I'm going to do here is make a backdrop for these flatware pockets out of burlap. We're going to give them an orange background. So very simply, fold to the center, fold in half, put it. Your spoon, fork, and knife, and your dessert fork, which goes right across the top. Okay, got a couple more. I do have some serving dishes here that we'll probably be able to tuck a few of them in there. Like I said, this is not a buffet, this is sit-down dinner. I have a bigger table at home, but I do love this table. And I love this little pop of orange on the table next to the plates. I just think this looks really good together. The burlap against the orange. One more. And of course, this is all stuff that you could do ahead of time. Can't see what I'm doing back here. That's a good thing. Okay, so we do have creamer and sugar for our coffee and our serving plates. We're going to have dressing, of course, gravy, it's just going to have to be passed around, a vegetable, and our turkey. And then, of course, we have dessert. We'll have a pumpkin pie and probably a pecan pie. I'm going to leave the desserts over here, let everybody kind of relax a little bit, enjoy their meal, let it move, and then we'll have dessert. Okay, and I think we still have some time so I can talk about Halloween. I just have a few little things for Halloween. We'll just add a few little spiders. This wonderful wreath. And you know what I like about this wreath? It is plastic. So I'm not going to have birds making a nest in it. So it is great for outside. And I think there's a couple ways you could use this. If I were going to leave the honeysuckle wreath up, take all of this out, and this could go right in the middle. I think that'd be a great look. And, of course, I'm not sure if every house has one of these, but ours does. The Witch is In. And we'll just stick a little owl up in there. Home is where you hang your broom, and just a few little touches, just ideas. And of course, Esmeralda, you know, she's going to hang around, especially for Halloween. She wants to go out and trick or treat. I'm going to make one more comment, and that's about guest towels. Now, these are great dinner napkins, but also in bathrooms. When you see guest towels, what I love about these, everybody can dry their hands individually. You're not all using just one hand towel that might be hanging there. So I encourage everybody to use guest towels. I think we are ready for dinner, so we can sit down, we'll carve that turkey, and enjoy. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you like this, like and subscribe. It really helps us to add programming. And I will see you again next month. We'll be starting Christmas. Bye.